Okay, it's Ray from Ray's Turquoise Turtle, and I didn't realize I wasn't recording. This resin is pretty sticky, but I am trying to get this 20-ounce Maker Flow Skinny coated quick. This resin's getting hot, so it's kind of setting up on me. But it should be fine for what I'm doing. I'm going to do a glitter ombre. Alright. Normally, on a glitter tumbler with the epoxy method, if your glitter or your resin was freshly mixed, you wouldn't need this much. But because this is already starting to firm up, it's going to take me more to coat my cup. So I prepped the cup by sanding it and wiping it down, and then I went and spray painted it. It is about 28 degrees outside today, so spray painting was fun. And now I'm just giving it a coat of resin. Trying to make sure I get it all. So I'll just keep working it. And it is really okay for a glitter application if your epoxy is starting to set up like this. It is the only application where I would use an epoxy that is already this far set. I wouldn't try and do an alcohol ink on this, or a glitter flow, or a mica flow. I just really hate to waste epoxy, so I'm trying to make it work. Okay, so I'm just going to watch this go around for a minute. Make sure that I don't have any void spots. Make sure you get your bottom lip, especially. And your top rim. Okay, so that's pretty good. Just gonna wipe my hands off real quick. I'm going to get this cup out of the way. I'm going to hit it with a heat gun just super fast. Adding a little more heat will loosen it up again a little bit and help it smooth out some. Not too much, you don't want to scorch it, just keep your torch moving. If you had fresh epoxy, like I said, that would have been easier. I'm going to take a medicine cup here, and I'm going to mix my two glitters that I'm going to use. So I'm just using a purple from AC Moore before they closed. And I'm going to try and mix these somewhat evenly, so. It is difficult to see the lines. But that's about to the 2.5 line. And this one is white platinum from It's Pretty Personal. I really like this white. And I'm going to stir stick. I'm going to mix those together. And I do think I poured a little bit more white than the purple. So I'm just going to give it a little more purple. So that is going to be my blend color primarily. All right. There's lots of ways of doing an ombre. This is just one. I've seen where people mix in 5 separate cups, 6 separate cups. For this one, though, I only really need the 3. And it should be fine. So, I'm going to actually start with the bottom. So, let me tip you out of frame a little bit. Just shake over it. It's going to have to come around a couple times to get solid coverage on this bottom. I can't do a waterfall method of ombre on camera because I can't, not with this setup. So, holding your glitter fairly high. And I want more than the bottom half, the purple, so. But I am going to kind of hold in one place to get my purple line to where I want it. That way I don't have a completely wonky line for separation. And I can see I'm still a little bit higher there, so I'm going to let that come around one more time. Where I can see it kind of dip here. I'm going to try and level that off. I'll let it come around again and I'll watch it. For me, using the epoxy method is way easier than Loctite or any of the other sprays, and definitely way easier than Mod Podge. I cannot stand working with Mod Podge. I will if I have to, but I prefer not to. Okay, so I'm going to take this paper out of here. Hopefully I didn't just scrape that. I'm going to watch for a second, because I did just hit the bottom of the cup with the paper. Okay. And I'm going to come in with a clean paper for my white. And I'm going to start filling the top, same way as the bottom. I'm going to come down to about here with that. Some people save their glitters, some people call it trash once it hits the paper. That's personal preference. One thing I do recommend is to never ever touch your glitter with your bare hands. Any oils on your hand, etc., will get in the glitter and can make your resin repel, and it's just not worth it. Let that roll around one more time, and I'm going to pull this paper and set it to the side. And I'm going to look at my mix again, make sure I'm good. So I think that this is good for the purple part right now. I may want to add more white as I get closer to the top, but I'll decide that in a second. I'm going to use this little spoon. I'm going to start along the purple. I'm just going to kind of tap it from a little bit up high. I'm going to go from way high over that purple a little bit. And I do have a strainer somewhere that I pulled to do this, but I set it down and I don't know where I set it down, so. So I'm using a spoon, which doesn't quite work as well, since I don't have a shaker for this mix. I'm going to go ahead and add some more of that white back in at this point. Actually, I'm not yet. I do want to put just a little bit more in that one spot I just saw when it comes back around. A lot of that will fall off of there when it comes around. So I'm going to add a little bit more of the white. Not a tumbler, just a little. And I'm going to go back over what is left with that. The white's making it look kind of silver in this light. I promise you it's not silver. Just kind of tapping over the top at this point, just trying to fill that in a little bit more. So I'm going to scoop up what's left and try and even that line out a little bit. I'm going to tap it a couple times. Just let some of that excess fall off. I'm going to go ahead And just sprinkle white from pretty high over that line again. Most of it probably won't stick, but that's fine. Okay, so I'm going to let this spin for a couple of hours. Because it was so thick, it's going to set up pretty quick, and this will be ready for a flood coat soon. When I get to the flood coat, if I decide I need to sprinkle a little white from high or a little purple from high, I will touch it back up at that point. Thank you.